A shocking 2024 economic prediction. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your hashtag not sponsored cheap-ish coffee. Let's check out this article from news.com.au, which is discussing, well, big announcements forecast for the year ahead for 2024. So, the Comeback chief economist has shared his thoughts on the economy's fate for 2024, touching on cash and inflation rates, as well as house prices. So, before we get started, why don't you let me know in the comments what do you think will happen to inflation and to house prices? Are house prices finally going to crash like so many people are expecting? Will it return to a normal, a more fair time where you only need one income to buy a house? I don't think that's ever going to happen again in Australia. Our culture's shifted way too much. To be quite honest, that's my argument. Even if we get a correction, it's still not going to be affordable for one income. But anyway, let's keep going. So, after a year in which Aussies were hampered with interest rate rises and high cost of living pressures, the economic outlook for 2024 could bring some much needed relief. Commonwealth Bank chief economist Stephen Hammelrich shared his projections for the year ahead, announcing a range of big rate forecasts. He said interest rates rises in 23 had the desired effect of slowing down the economy to a point where there was a high chance things could finally start going the other way with cash rate cuts instead of hikes. Okay, if we get cash rate cuts, it's not going to be, that doesn't mean it'll plunge right down to 0.1. I bet you, even if the first hike or the first cut we get, it'll just flow through the media and you'll see a bump in property prices just from the hype. So, to the point there was a high chance things could start going the other way with cash rate cuts instead of hikes. Looking ahead, 2024 will have more than its fair share of risks and challenges, particularly geopolitical risks, as well as the United States presidential election, he said. Oh, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun to watch. Despite these obstacles, the Australian economy remains in relatively good shape. But here's the thing. You see the constant prediction of doom is just around the corner. The economy is just about to collapse. And people, well, oh, I'm warning you, they're on tears on their YouTubes, crying, oh, no one's hearing my warnings. Warning, bullshit, 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 fear, fear, fear. And it's just the same stuff. Commonwealth Bank forecasts project the cash rate to fall by 75 basis points, starting in September with another drop in the second half of 2025. So what will that bring us down to? About 3.5%. Inflation, which currently sits at about 5.4%, is tipped to return to the desired range between 2 to 3% ahead of the Reserve Bank forecasts. CBA is forecasting the annual rate of inflation back at 3% at the end of 2024, well ahead of the RBA's current forecast and closer to the Commonwealth Government's latest forecast, he said. He also expects the RBA to begin a modest monetary policy easing cycle from September 2024 onwards. Mr. Hammelrich said the Australian economy was slowing at a slower rate than other countries, with a slowdown in consumer spending and a dip in inflation. The good news is that the pace of global inflation clearly began decelerating around mid-23, and we expect further deceleration in 24. However, markets will also focus on the balance between returning inflation to the 2% targets without doing too much damage to the labour markets. While there is employment growth expected, the unemployment rate, which is the percentage of people officially unemployed in the labour force, is set to move up to 4.5% by the end of 24, he believes. This does not mean more people will lose their jobs, rather that the rate of job growth will be slower than the increase in working age of the population, the Commonwealth Bank statement said. So as the participation rate increases by more people entering the job market, they're going to have a tougher time finding jobs. But 4.5% is still not a bad unemployment rate, to be honest. Migration to Australia is also tipped to slow as the availability of housing remains limited and the price of dwellings continues to rise. Well, there you go. We're not going to see that housing correction that some people are basing basing their entire financial decisions on, it feels like, some of the stories you hear. Forecast suggests another 5% rise in house prices in the coming year after a 9.6% jump from February 2023. So there we go, everyone. Let's have a chat about this one. So, were you shocked by these predictions for next year? Well, it seems more like returning to normal. We'll have to see. I think the biggest thing is going to be the election in the US. That's going to be bloody entertaining to watch. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.